Well, what would be most helpful today?
Yes, I know I had put marketing on there, but I think what would be most helpful is talking about marketing to my ideal client slash niche,
Hmm.
because the work that I like to do with clients isn't necessarily what they say they're coming in for.
Okay.
And so I want to make sure that like my copy and how I'm marketing and my blog posts and things like that are speaking to my clients to get them in, but that I can also do the work that I like to do underneath, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally, totally. Okay, so like break it all down, all the layers.
Yes. So how I've been marketing and what I say my niche is anxious, high achieving women.
Hmm.
What I love to work with is the family of origin concerns, the people pleasing, the interpersonal patterns, could be some complex trauma, but not wanting to go like too complex trauma route.
Hmm.
But they don't come in saying that. They come in
Right.
saying, I'm anxious, I'm overwhelmed, work's taking up too much time, I'm hard on myself, I'm hyper independent, don't trust people, or don't rely on people. Um, I don't feel my emotions. I try to push them down because if I feel one more thing, I'm going to be overwhelmed. And
Hmm.
so a lot of my blog posts have been about like speaking to more so of like corporate culture or high achieving women in the career aspect and the job aspect, and
Hmm.
maybe not so much as the like anxiety in relationships, or because they don't come in necessarily knowing that.
Hmm.
And so I'm just kind of curious if like my marketing is going to attract the clients that I want. And so far, I feel like it has.
Hmm.
The only thing I want to make sure is like I'm not attracting clients that are like, give me a 10-point step to beating imposter syndrome and
Right.
like really wanting to do that depth work, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. And so it sounds like the people you're bringing in are still the right people. Like it's working.
I
But
think so.
are they wanting that 10-step process? The folks you're bringing in?
I don't know if they're wanting it or if it's my fear, or if it's like a part
Mm-hmm.
of me is like thinking that that's what they want.
Right.
Um, like of course I have some clients who are like, so give me the next step and like what do I do? And I feel
Hmm.
comfortable addressing that and like going, that's not the type of therapy I do, and here's what
Hmm.
therapy does look like. And so the thoughts that I did have would be on my about page, on my website, maybe a little bit on the homepage of really speaking to like in therapy with me, we go beyond coping skills to get to the root of the problem so that there can be long lasting change.
Yeah.
And trying to really bring in those types of clients and even
Hmm.
maybe setting up my consultation calls and first session that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it makes sense. Like your population has done their whole life with 10-step plans, right? Like
Yeah.
they execute, they're good at it. It's what keeps their anxiety at bay. It's how they like,
They
that's how
also
they
know
avoid.
coping skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So work and executing whatever the next right step is how they have not had to deal with feelings. And it makes sense that they would be interested in approaching their feelings in the same way.
Yep.
And they're lucky they have you and you understand this pattern in them so that you
Yeah.
don't then play into it with like, here's our 10 steps then, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Okay.
think it's smart to talk about like getting to that root cause. I think like kind of intimating like this actually goes a lot deeper than most of my clients realize.
Hmm.
Um, and you can frame it like for some of my clients, it goes back to the family they grew up in.
Yeah.
I would definitely like soften it with some because you've got your
Yeah.
clients for whom that is absolutely the case, but they're initially going to come in being like, I mean, my childhood was pretty normal, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, you know, you find out several sessions later, like their version of normal is very generous.
What is normal?
Right, right.
Okay. Yeah. For some. Okay, that's helpful. Um, because it's helpful for me to think about like what language do they use and like what are they coming in saying is the problem. I
Hmm.
think where I get tripped up is like a part of me is like, well, if they come in saying imposter syndrome, but I really like doing the family of origin work, I just want to make sure that those align.
Hmm.
And I think it does. It's just what's bringing them in the door.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Could we take a look at my website? Just
Mhm.
maybe my about page and my homepage. Do you need me to send it to you?
Yeah, send it to me. And since people are listening potentially on the podcast, then I'm going to kind of read some of it aloud that I think is actually really nailing it or needs a little work.
Yeah.
Um, so your hero image is this woman who is like cozily holding onto coffee and looking cozy through the window. She looks happy. She looks fulfilled. Like this is what your ideal client wants to look like. That's what we always want, right? We don't want sad Sally as the first image they see. We want that more aspirational. So the release self-doubt and anxiety, start thriving. Therapy for anxious, high-achieving women in Texas. Um, this feels very clear to me. As long as your ideal clients are coming in and saying, like, I am just doubting myself constantly.
Yeah.
So if that's how they're identifying their struggle, then heck yeah.
Okay.
Um, and I help ambitious women feel more confident in themselves without the relentless self-doubt and constant overwhelm that keeps them stuck. I think what you're doing really right in this sentence is ambitious women are very ambitious, right? And so like we don't want to dwell too much, us ambitious women, on our doubt. We want to acknowledge that it's there so that we can fix it or
Mm-hmm.
get it fixed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we do want to feel more confident in ourselves, but we don't want it to come across like we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that constant overwhelm, I don't know any ambitious woman who isn't in like battling overwhelm at most
Yeah.
points of her life.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so you're speaking to these words inside her, like confident, doubt, self-doubt, and overwhelm,
Mm-hmm.
that are and ambitious, which is how she would describe herself. Confident is
Mm-hmm.
what she wants more of, but wants you to
Mm-hmm.
perceive her as confident at first. And I love the word relentless because this is a word for anybody who works with anybody ambitious. Work the word relentless into your copy somewhere where it makes sense because it's like the peanut butter to the jelly of ambition, right? Like there
Yeah.
is it in order to be ambitious, you have to be relentless. But when
Yeah.
that's relentless self-doubt, like it's like, oh, she's trying to battle with her like ambitiousness and the confidence she does have. With
Yeah.
this relentless self-doubt, like I can picture like it's a battle royale, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then the overwhelm, constant overwhelm. So the word
Yeah.
constant, we're keeping with that relentless vibe. And I'm bringing up this and your hero image words because these are the first things people are going to read. They're not going to read
Yeah.
the little bit of words on the right until
Yep.
you've hooked them with this and the
Okay.
so um good job.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the smaller copy or the smaller font, you're talking about how, yeah, they have it all. They look like they have it all together. They get shit done. They excelled in school. They've got these high-powered jobs, working in high-stress environments, and like life feels hard. You're giving very clear examples, right? So when you're saying worrying about meeting billable hours, like you're speaking to attorneys, you're speaking to
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that are like, oh, that's my lingo,
Mm-hmm.
second guessing clinical decisions. Here you are talking to the medical community. You're acknowledging that sleep is elusive for them. You're using words like elusive. Normally, I'm like right on that fourth, fifth grade level, but because your
Mm.
people, they need words like elusive. They need
Okay.
they don't need like full $5 words, but they do need some words that are a part of their vernacular, that
Yeah.
are like how they
Okay.
talk to their friends so that they
Yeah.
know that you're smart.
Yeah.
Basically. We don't have to show that we're smart so much to all populations, but when you're
Yeah.
talking to a population that needs to trust that you're on the same
Yeah.
intellectual like playing field that they
Okay.
are, that's just
Yeah.
um let's see. So you got the word relentless again in the smaller text of relentlessly critical of themselves. Um yeah. Now, when I think about these folks,
Yeah.
the vast majority of them are finding their therapist through word of mouth.
Yes.
They are asking the people they trust.
Yep.
So as I'm looking at your website, it look like you're describing their daily lived experience very well. Um, you are showing your expertise. You're showing like an understanding of what they're going through. Um, I think there's nothing about your website that concerns me in any way, shape, or form. I think it's a matter of
Okay.
like, how are we getting people to that website?
Okay. So that was going to be my, I guess, another quick thing, because I feel like my website has been good. I need to get to the point where I'm like perfectionist Molly, like it's good enough, leave it
Mm-hmm.
alone. Um, I think a question that I do have is on my about page.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned
Um,
that.
yeah, just real quick, I plan to add a little bit more to it, but um, so for example, like on the second paragraph, my clients are high achieving anxious women. On the outside, they appear calm and confident, blah, blah, blah. Do I need to use like you feel blank blank versus they? Like, does that make more of a punch on this page? Or is it okay as is?
I think it's okay as is. I think the thing with you, it depends on your ideal client, right?
Yeah,
Like some of our ideal clients are like, you don't know me. And the second
yeah,
they see you, it feels salesy, it feels like manipulative to
yeah,
them. Whereas others are like, I do, you're right, I do feel that way, you know?
yeah. Okay,
So I think putting it through the lens of your ideal client.
okay, cool. Okay. So yeah, if there's anything else on the about page, otherwise it could be helpful to maybe talk marketing and how I'm getting these clients to me.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I'm just looking at the rest of your about page and it looks good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk marketing then.
Yes. So my 5 marketing strategies are website, um, Facebook groups, and I'll say that's pretty passive. In the way that I use it, I know I'm not going to fill my caseload through Facebook groups.
Hmm.
Because if somebody posts in there, hey, I've got a high achieving corporate woman who's looking for XYZ, they're going to get 50 responses all across
Hmm.
the board. But the way that I use it primarily is to connect and network with other folks.
Yeah.
And so I will comment and be like, hey, Jasmine's really good at blank blank. I highly recommend her, more so as like keeping me on top of mind and as a way of
Hmm.
networking.
Hmm.
And so that's how I use those groups primarily. I'm not thinking I'm going to get tons of referrals from them. I'm networking, I would say 2 to 4 times a week with
Hmm.
other therapists that are premium fee, cash pay. And within those networking, I'm networking with therapists that have a
Hmm.
same niche, but different approach. Couples therapists, sex therapists. I've done pelvic floor therapy, private pay psychiatrists, and therapists for men. So that's kind of my kind of network. And for networking, I would say I try to reach out to folks several times a year, like 4 or 5 times a year. But
Hmm.
then in between our times too, like I'm
Yeah.
messaging them stuff on that. So networking, I feel is a really good. I feel very at ease with networking and enjoy
Hmm.
that. SEO and blogging. I am blogging. The goal is weekly. I would say probably 3 times a month sometimes. And I feel like if you were to look at like my early blogs to now, it's vastly different.
Uh-huh.
And then I also do SEO. So I'm constantly doing SEO on my blogs and on my webpage. And so with website and blogging, to me, blogging and SEO are one. I put those two
Hmm.
together as one. And then other marketing strategy that I just tried recently and haven't gotten success with is pitching presentations.
Hmm.
And so I came up with 3 presentations and really tailored the title of it and the description of it to these groups. And I pitched it to like the local junior league, a couple of like local, like the Blank County Bar Association, the Chamber of Commerce, And I have not heard back from any of them.
Okay.
I did hear back from the Chamber of Commerce, but they want me to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm not sure I'm into that. So that's kind of my marketing right now.
Yeah. So I'm imagining like these business owner meetings that happen, not just through Chamber of Commerce, but like here in Asheville, we have like at least three or four different women in business organizations.
Yep.
And so I'm sure in Austin there's more,
Yep.
just because it's a bigger city. So I might find those.
Okay.
And they often, like here, they have like at least a quarterly breakfast, if not more, and they have a speaker for that.
Okay.
Um, so I would reach out to all of those.
Okay.
I think that that's going to be a really powerful way to do
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Now, I was talking with somebody about speaking, and they were using ChatGPT to help them come up with, talking points and some of the script. And it was so flat and so boring and so exactly
Mhm.
what anybody in,
Yep.
anybody in the world could talk about.
Yep.
So, I actually have a talk that I give business owners um, in my circles that's all about like I do some self disclosure that's like, coming from a scar, not a wound,
Yeah.
um, about the ways in which I am like my clients who struggle and kind
Yep.
of like set it up as like these are the patterns that from my vantage point working with people just like you, here are the patterns I see.
Yep.
And basically like if you see yourself in this pattern and you have not figured out how to get out, then come see me.
Okay. Perfect. Yep. Yeah, and some of the groups that I reached out to, I'm not confident that those email addresses are being checked very regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I found some of these groups like on Facebook, and so they've got like a Facebook account, but it might not be like managed all the time. And so part of it is like, okay, maybe I planted a seed about that. I think another thing that I've found is like the local junior league is about to launch a mental health initiative.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, I would just even love to open the door to having a conversation. Like, I don't even necessarily have to pitch a presentation. I would just love to hear more about the initiative and like, what does that look like? And,
Mm-hmm.
what does that look like for your members? And because I looked at the website of it and I'm a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that could be a really good just door opening for me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. A question about marketing. So I have it on here of Austin, Texas. It's mainly because my registered agent address is in Austin. I don't
Mm,
physically live in
got
Austin.
it. Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm networking with some of these businesses, it's in my local community.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if that was going to be too much of a hindrance, but for SEO purposes, it's mainly just Austin.
Yeah. How far away are you from Austin?
Oh, like 5 hours.
Oh gosh. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like I'm like an hour and could like
Right.
go commute to it. And a lot of my referral network is in Austin. So I feel very connected to the community there. I'm just not
Mhm.
physically in
Right.
there. But I did that for the continuity of the address for like Google Business Profile, my registered
Mhm.
agent, and if I were to
Yeah.
have that. So
And if it'd be worth it to you to speak there, once every
yeah,
few months or once every month, I would
yeah,
start because
thought of that.
there's going to be much bigger,
Pockets.
yeah,
Yeah,
bigger
that's what I
pockets
thought of.
and more people. Like, I mean, there's so many startups, there's so many, um, it's just a very large city. So I think
Yeah.
there's just more opportunity for you for speaking there.
Yep.
It might
Okay.
be good near home as like kind of like practice.
Yep.
Get really comfortable, see what needs to be ironed out
Yeah.
in your talk. But
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because that was a question I did have of like, even though I'm physically not located in Austin, again, my whole referral network for the most part is in Austin,
Hmm.
of pitching myself to them. And I'm even thinking like their junior league is massive.
Hmm.
Um, and so it could be like if it was a paid thing, or even if it wasn't, it could be like a good trip for me and my family or something
Hmm.
down there. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I've been starting to see that I've been getting more. clients through the clients that are finding me are usually it's going to be word of mouth or another therapist referral, and or Google slash chat GPT has
Mm-hmm.
been how they've kind of found me. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I just typed in your keywords. And I'm like, what keywords did you type?
Which ones? Mm-hmm.
It's resonated with you. I didn't ask that, but it is helpful for me to like hear them say like, oh, on your website you talk like that's what they said in the form was everything you mentioned on your website and how it's bleeding into my personal life. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
awesome, this is like a good fit.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
do feel like my marketing has been good that when clients are getting to me, it's a good fit.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
feel like your website, like you just speak very clearly and very well to your people.
Thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be so fun to do some presentations because I feel like I'm good at it. It's been a while since I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can just get in the door anywhere and everywhere, I would just love that. So
Yeah.
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 Okay, cool. Yeah. So ideal client wise, because that's something that with me still like building the business, I do just want to make sure that like the work that I'm doing with my clients and bringing those and the family of origin and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to label myself a trauma therapist because my clients don't identify with
Right.
that. They don't say I have trauma. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure my messaging was on par or like clear with what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Okay.
Yeah. And
Cool.
even if they can't acknowledge like, oh, this thing happened to me, that was trauma,
Yeah.
they feel like they're over it enough. Like they're probably
Mhm.
not linking it to the constant
Mhm.
striving and all
Mhm.
these other pieces.
Yeah. No, they're not. Yeah, that just
Mhm.
came up. Okay. Constant striving. Okay. Anything else marketing wise I could do, or does my marketing plan sound okay?
It sounds good. You know, whenever I think of marketing, like speaking as marketing, in my mind, it only really counts as marketing if you're speaking at least once a month.
I saw you write that. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there are also podcasts you could probably get on that. I mean, you're in
Yes.
a big state. You're licensed in a big state. Do you have the SIPACT
I
situation?
don't have side packs right now, but I just got a client that travels a lot for work, so I might do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, often it doesn't make a lot of sense to be on these national podcasts because,
Okay.
you know, the percentage of those people that are in your state might not be high,
Yeah.
but Texas is a big state with a lot of people. And if you do end up be
Yep.
doing SIPAC, it might make sense.
Okay. I did find she's a coach. She's a former attorney who's a coach for other attorneys. She's
Mhm.
based in Dallas. She has a podcast and a coaching business, and I pitched to be on the podcast and even just wanted to connect to hear more about her coaching business. And it was not the most, I don't know that it was most well received, or she was like, oh
Mm.
yeah, it sounds like you do great work. She said, we're not taking new people on for the podcast right now. And I was like, oh, that's fine. You know, and I was like, well, I'd still love to connect. And then it was like crickets.
Mhm.
But that was an area that I was like, oh, that would be, it's local kind of to me. It's in the state. It is
Mhm.
my ideal population. So something kind of similar to that could be
Yeah.
a
Is
good
she
podcast.
doing what she perceives as similar work to you? Like, are you
I wondered
competition?
that the vibe that I got was that it would be competition.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not at all how I was kind of perceiving it to be.
Hmm.
Um, I was hoping it could have been more collaborative. But I got the sense that it maybe landed that way, or she took it that way, that it was competition. So
Yeah. So I wonder if there's another, like somebody kind of more not providing wellness or self-care or
yeah,
therapy or coaching, um, but that speaks to ambitious women.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like I'm thinking through like who else speaks to ambitious women and
Yeah.
where.
And maybe even like just has an ambitious woman subset, like when
Yep.
you think of huge podcasts whose demographic is like, middle-aged women maybe, or young to
Hmm.
middle-aged women, like a Mel Robbins type.
Hmm.
She's definitely speaking to ambitious women. So
Hmm.
people like that, but she's not providing the coaching herself. She's just hosting this podcast.
Okay, that's helpful. Yep, that's helpful. Where they're not providing necessarily like a service like that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing all the right things. It hasn't been like the growth that like I've wanted, but I'm also like okay with that in a sense.
Hmm.
Like my daughter's under two.
Yeah.
And so I'm like slow feels okay and feels sustainable. And
Hmm.
I think it gives me the time to make sure that like my policies, just getting really clear also on who my client is so that I'm
Hmm.
not attracting. I don't know if you said it or somebody else said it, but like your business is a reflection of your boundaries. I
Hmm.
don't know if you said that, but it is stuck with me and it is on my computer. And so I think about that in terms of like marketing and like the clients that I'm bringing in and who I'm speaking to of like really wanting to make it be sustainable. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm on the right track.
You're on a great track. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. Awesome. This was fun. I'm glad we got to connect again.
Yeah, same. Take good
Awesome.
care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.